Have you ever done something that felt good only to find out it was silently hurting you? That's what happened to one of my patients. Let's call him John. He was 67, walked into my clinic smiling, said he felt stronger than ever. He'd been doing all the right things, hitting the gym, lifting weights, sweating it out like the young guys. But when we ran his heart tests, the results made my stomach drop. His blood pressure was through the roof. His heart rhythm was off, and his arteries harder than concrete. He didn't feel pain. He didn't feel weak, but his heart was waving red flags loud enough for anyone trained to see. Here's the terrifying part. John is not the exception. He's the rule. Every single week, I meet seniors just like him, men and women in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, doing popular workouts, following fitness trends, thinking they're helping their heart, but actually putting it under silent, dangerous strain. And here's what no one tells you. The same exercises that keep a 30-year-old strong can quietly tear apart a 70-year-old heart. Not all movement is good movement, not at this stage of life. So in this video, I'm going to reveal the 5 exercises I am begging seniors to stop doing immediately. Not because I want to scare you, but because I've seen what happens when you ignore the whispers of your body, and I want better for you. Because yes, your heart can still get stronger. Yes, you can still stay active, vibrant, and independent, but only if you're moving smarter, not harder. Now, before we dive in, if you care about protecting your heart as you age, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We've got videos made just for you, simple, science-based, and life-saving. And when you're ready to learn the silent mistakes that could be putting your heart at risk every single day, let's begin. High-intensity workouts, the myth that more sweat means more health. Let me tell you about Carol. She's 66, bright, sharp, energetic, the kind of woman who always wants to stay 2 steps ahead of aging. After retiring, she made a goal: stay active, stay young. So she joined a trendy gym downtown. They offered high-intensity interval classes. HIIT, they called it. Quick bursts of all-out effort followed by short rests. She was excited. It felt like she was doing something powerful for her heart. But here's what she didn't know. The heart she had at 30, the one that could handle sprinting, sweating, and skipping rest, is not the same heart she has today. And that's not because she's weak. It's because she's human. As we age, our cardiovascular system changes in quiet but powerful ways. Our blood vessels stiffen. Our heart muscle becomes less flexible. Even the electrical rhythms that control our heartbeat, those too start to shift. So when Carol pushed herself through those breathless, high-impact sets, her heart wasn't getting stronger. It was getting strained. At first, she brushed off the signs. A little dizziness here, fatigue that lingered longer than usual. She thought, that's just age catching up. But after one particularly intense class, her heart started to flutter, literally. Her pulse became irregular. Her blood pressure soared. And just like that, she was rushed to urgent care with a diagnosis: atrial fibrillation. The thing is, Carol wasn't doing anything wrong. She was doing what so many seniors do, chasing the myth that more sweat equals more health. But here's the truth no one tells you. More isn't always better, especially when it comes to a 60-plus heart. High-intensity training might look impressive. It might even feel like a good challenge. But underneath that adrenaline rush is a dangerous reality, one that raises the risk of blood pressure spikes, arrhythmias, and in some cases, cardiac events. So what's the alternative? Gentle walking, Tai Chi, water aerobics, even a slow, steady bike ride while you can still hold a conversation. These don't look dramatic, but they work with your heart, not against it. They build endurance without chaos. They strengthen by listening, not by shouting. Because the goal now isn't to win a race.
It's to wake up tomorrow with a steady heart and the strength to enjoy another good day. And that, my friend, is the kind of power that truly lasts. Now let's talk about another hidden danger, one that doesn't just involve movement, but the pressure inside your body you can't even see.
Stop 2. Crunches and heavy lifting, when core training becomes cardiac risk. There's something deeply satisfying about feeling strong, about picking something up and knowing you still can. And for many older adults, strength training becomes a source of pride, independence, even identity. But sometimes what feels like strength on the outside is quietly causing strain on the inside. Let me introduce you to Marvin. He's 72, a retired firefighter, still sharp, still proud, still pushing himself every week in the garage gym he built behind his house. He told me once, "I don't want to be one of those guys who fades away. I want to fight back." So he kept doing what he'd always done: sit-ups, crunches, and deadlifts. Nothing extreme, just familiar, comfortable. Until one morning, mid-rep, Marvin felt a wave of lightheadedness. His chest tightened, his vision blurred. He sat down, waited, thought it would pass. But it didn't. And that moment led him straight to my office. What Marvin didn't realize, what many people don't realize, is how dangerous internal pressure can be when we're older. You see, when you strain during a crunch or heavy lift, especially if you hold your breath, you're not just challenging your muscles, you're increasing intra-abdominal and thoracic pressure. That pressure doesn't just stay in your belly or chest, it surges upward toward your heart. Think of it like squeezing a balloon from the middle. The pressure has to go somewhere. In this case, it spikes your blood pressure in seconds. And for someone with aging arteries, perhaps a bit of plaque they don't even know about, that spike can be the final straw. In Marvin's case, it triggered a dangerous rhythm disturbance. He wasn't out of shape. He was out of sync with what his heart could handle now, not what it could handle 20 years ago. But here's the lesson. You don't need to abandon strength. You just need to redefine it. Instead of crunches, try bird dog or wall planks. Instead of heavy weights, use resistance bands or light dumbbells with slow, controlled movement. And always, always breathe through the effort. Never hold your breath, never rush. Because strength isn't about how much you lift. It's about how wisely you move. It's about respecting the incredible machine your body still is while honoring the changes it's gone through. Marvin still trains now, but with awareness, with gentleness, with wisdom. And maybe that's the strongest thing he's ever done. Coming up next, a danger you can't even feel until the weather turns and your heart is left to fight the elements alone.
Stop 3. Exercising in extreme weather, the enemy you don't even see. Some dangers in life are loud and obvious, but others, they're quiet, sneaky. They don't shout, they whisper. And one of the most overlooked threats to the aging heart is the weather. Not hurricanes, not blizzards, just a hot afternoon walk or a brisk winter jog. Let me tell you about Linda. She's 69, lives in Arizona. Always loved her morning walks. Helps me clear my mind, she'd say. But last summer, she decided to walk just a bit later than usual. The sun had climbed higher, the pavement was hot, and within 15 minutes, she started feeling dizzy. She brushed it off, kept going until her knees buckled. A neighbor saw her collapse and called for help. Linda didn't know that extreme heat can silently stress an aging heart. When it's hot, your blood vessels dilate, your heart beats faster to cool your body. And if you're even slightly dehydrated, it's like asking your heart to run a marathon with no warm-up and no water. Now let's go to the other end, winter. Cold weather does the opposite. It causes your blood vessels to constrict, tighten up to preserve heat. Sounds harmless, but that tightness makes it harder for your heart to push blood through. If you already have high blood pressure or stiff arteries, this added stress can tip the scale. Chest pain, shortness of breath, even heart attacks. And here's what makes it so dangerous. You don't always feel it happening. By the time you do, the damage may already be in motion. That's why I tell my patients, your heart doesn't just respond to what you do, it responds to where and when you do it. So here's the gentle shift I recommend. If it's too hot or too cold outside, don't push through. Find a safe indoor space. Use a fan. Layer your clothes. Hydrate before, during, and after your routine. And listen for subtle signals: fatigue, lightheadedness, unusual shortness of breath. Those aren't just aging. They're your heart raising its hand, asking for help. Linda recovered, but now she walks early, indoors on bad days. She still clears her mind, but she no longer lets the weather cloud her judgment. Because the truth is, we can't control the seasons, but we can choose when and how we step into them. And speaking of movement, there's another risk many seniors don't expect. Not because of the environment, but because of how fast your body is being asked to respond. Let's talk about that next.
Stop fast, jerky movements. The illusion of youth that can break your balance. There's something about fast-paced movement that makes us feel alive. The rhythm, the sweat, the sense of doing something real. For many, it feels like fighting against time, like proving that age hasn't taken over. But here's the quiet truth. Speed can be seductive and dangerous. I once met Harold, 70 years old, retired teacher, full of energy and stubborn pride. He joined a community aerobics class with mostly younger folks. Jumping jacks, quick step sequences, even a few burpees. He didn't want to fall behind. He didn't want to look old. After one class, he felt lightheaded. The next week, he fell, tripped on a fast turn, and hit his hip hard. No broken bones, thank God, but a bruised body and ego. Still, that wasn't the worst part. He told me later, I realized I wasn't falling because I was clumsy. I was falling because I was trying to move like someone I no longer am. And that hit me. As we age, our nervous system slows down a little. Reaction time stretches. Balance becomes a little more fragile. Arteries stiffen. Oxygen delivery gets a bit less efficient. So when we throw the body into sudden jumps, twists, or rapid changes of direction, it's not just the muscles that get confused, it's the entire cardiovascular system. Your heart races, not in rhythm, but in panic. Your blood pressure swings, and sometimes the brain doesn't get the oxygen it needs fast enough. That's when the ground rises up to meet you. But this doesn't mean movement should stop. It just means it should change. Replace the chaos with control. Trade jerky with gentle. Tai Chi, water aerobics, slow, intentional balance drills. They may not look as intense, but they train your body where it counts, in stability, breath, awareness. Harold eventually found joy in slow movement. He says now, I don't move fast, but I move well, and I move safely. And really, what's more powerful than that? Now, let's talk about one final risk that doesn't happen during your workout, but after, when your body needs something even more sacred than exercise: deep, healing sleep. Stop 5. Exercising too close to bedtime, when wellness disrupts your healing. Let's talk about something most people don't think twice about: timing. You see, it's not just what you do, but when you do it that can make all the difference, especially after 60. Take Joyce, for example. She's 68. Thoughtful, disciplined and committed to staying healthy. Every evening after dinner, she'd take a brisk walk around her neighborhood. Felt like the perfect way to end the day. Quiet streets, cool air, a little me time. But then the sleep issues started. At first, it was just tossing and turning. Then it became waking up at 2 a.m. with her heart racing, mind spinning. She tried tea. She tried meditation. Nothing seemed to work. Until one night she skipped her evening walk and slept like a baby. What Joyce didn't realize, and what many seniors don't, is that even light exercise in the late evening can disrupt the body's natural rhythm. When you move your body, your nervous system gets activated. Your core temperature rises. Your heart rate increases. And your body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These signals say one thing loud and clear: stay alert. But what your body needs in the evening is the opposite. It needs softness, slowness. It needs the signals that say, let go. It's safe to rest. And here's the ripple effect. When sleep is disrupted, your heart doesn't get to heal. Nighttime is when your blood pressure resets, when your heart rate slows, and your immune system repairs. Miss out on that? And you may be slowly building inflammation, irregular rhythms, even blood sugar issues, without ever knowing why. Joyce learned something powerful. She didn't have to give up movement, just move it to the right part of the day. Now she walks in the morning, stretches in the afternoon, and lets her evenings be peaceful again. And her sleep? Steady, healing, restorative. So here's the gentle reminder. Wellness is not just action, it's alignment. When you honor your body's rhythms, it gives back in ways no workout ever could. But while we've talked about what not to do, there's one more danger worth mentioning. One that doesn't happen from doing too much, but from doing nothing at all.
The most dangerous exercise? Doing nothing at all. After everything we've just talked about, the intense workouts, the risky movements, the wrong timing, you might feel tempted to do the safest thing possible. Nothing. Just rest. Just take it easy. Stay on the couch. Skip the walk. Watch another episode. Because after all, movement seems risky, right? But here's the truth that's often harder to hear. The most dangerous exercise for your heart is no exercise at all. I once worked with a man named Robert. He was 74, recently widowed, and still grieving deeply. He stopped walking, stopped stretching. He told me, "I just don't have the energy anymore. What's the point?" At first, nothing seemed wrong. He was resting, taking it slow. But slowly, his blood pressure began to rise. His blood sugar, too. He gained weight, slept poorly, and his mood? It darkened more and more. The body, especially in our later years, wasn't designed for stillness. It was made to move. Not to run marathons, but to circulate, to stretch, to breathe with intention. When we stop moving, even for a few days, the effects start stacking quietly. Muscle loss begins. Joints stiffen. Circulation slows. And the heart, it becomes more vulnerable, less efficient, less resilient. There's even a medical term for this: disuse syndrome. It's not just about becoming unfit. It's about the body forgetting how to support itself. Robert's turning point came when his granddaughter asked him to walk her to the park. He said yes and struggled the whole way there. But something shifted in him that day, not just physically, but emotionally. He started walking again, 10 minutes at a time. Eventually added in light stretching, A little strength work with a resistance band? Nothing dramatic, but consistent, gentle, honest. And a year later, his blood pressure stabilized, his energy returned, his joy too. The lesson here is simple. Don't let fear of doing the wrong thing keep you from doing anything at all. Because motion is medicine, and the safest step you can take is the next one. Now let's talk about what that next step should really look like. Not harder, not faster, but wiser.
There's a voice that many of us grew up with. It says, push harder. No pain, no gain. If you're not sweating, you're not working. But if there's one truth I've learned walking beside seniors for decades, it's this. Strength after 60 doesn't come from pushing harder. It comes from choosing wiser. I remember a man named Bill, 71, retired engineer. He was methodical, precise, proud of doing things right. And he approached his health the same way. Tracking his steps, counting his protein, lifting weights 3 times a week. But he kept getting injured. Little things, a pulled shoulder, a strained calf, sore knees that wouldn't quit. He came to me frustrated. I'm doing everything I used to do, but my body's not keeping up. And I gently said, maybe your body isn't the problem. Maybe your strategy is. You see, aging doesn't mean giving up strength. It means redefining it. Strength now isn't how many reps you can do. It's how you recover. It's how balanced you feel when you step off a curb. It's whether you can carry groceries without straining or play with your grandkids without fear. That kind of strength, it's built through consistency, through controlled movements, slow breathing, better alignment. Bill shifted his routine. He swapped heavy deadlifts for resistance bands, traded boot camp style sessions for yoga twice a week and walking with his wife every morning. And something remarkable happened. His inflammation dropped. His sleep improved. He smiled more. And the most surprising part? He felt stronger than ever. Not in the gym, but in life. So here's the shift, my friend. Let go of the old scoreboard. Let go of chasing more. Instead, ask, what supports my body today? What honors the heart I have now? Because aging isn't a downhill slope. It's a chance to get smarter, to get softer, to train with purpose, not pressure. And in that shift, you'll find a kind of power that no number on a dumbbell could ever match. Next, as we begin to close, I want to leave you with one final reminder, one that speaks not just to your body, but to your heart.
If you've made it this far, thank you. It tells me something important, that you care. Not just about living longer, but about living better. And if I could say just one final thing to you, it would be this. Your heart is still listening. Even now. With every beat, every breath, every gentle choice you make, it's paying attention. And it's asking for one thing in return. Your wisdom. You see, your heart doesn't need to be pushed to the edge. It doesn't need punishment disguised as discipline. It doesn't need you to prove anything. It needs rhythm. It needs consistency. It needs moments of movement that say, I care about you. Moments that whisper, you still matter. I think about a woman named Evelyn. She's 77 now. She used to be a runner in her 30s. And for years, she held on to that image, the runner, the competitor, the strong one. But her knees started hurting. Her heart didn't bounce back like it used to. And one day she told me, I realized I was chasing who I used to be instead of honoring who I am now. So she let go. She didn't stop moving. She just started listening. She walks in the park now. She does chair yoga with friends. She breathes deeper,
laughs more. And her heart? Steadier than ever. That's the power of choosing presence over pressure. So let me ask you gently, what has your heart been trying to tell you lately? Have you been ignoring its quiet messages, brushing off the fatigue, the tightness, the tension? Or are you ready to hear it? You're not too old. It's not too late. And the smallest step you take today can echo for years into your future. So choose wisely. Choose gently. And if this video helped you even a little, share one thing you'll do differently in the comments below. Let's support each other in this season of wisdom. Let's protect our hearts together. And remember, the next time your heart speaks, give it something worth hearing.